Where's Bana Mahmoud? Sitting in that class. Smart Tariq takes that class. Read Bismillah. No, isn't we that way? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So okay, let's just start from the beginning again. We just قائدا مع القدرة على القيام بقوله عليه الصلاة والسلام صلاة القائد على المسلم من صلاة القائم ولأن الصلاة. Okay, we done this part yesterday, but we're just going to do it again just because the next part is linked to it. ويصلي النافلة قائدا مع القدرة على القيام. So you can read your nafila مع sitting even though you have the ability to Zohar, sunnahs of Zohar, before Zohar, after Zohar, your Taraweeh namaz, all that one. You can read them sitting, despite you having the ability, the qudra to stand, right? You understood that? ويصلي النافلة قائدة مع القدرة القيام لقول السلام because of the statement of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam صلاة القائد على النصف من صلاة القائم. The salat of the sitting person على النصف is half then من صلاة القائم than the standing person. So it means you have a choice, but you will get half reward, right? Carry on. وإن الصلاة خير موضوع because look at salat is the best. We done a detailed discussion in this. How people remember the discussion. Salat is the best thing. That's why I told you salat is the best ibadat. وإن الصلاة خير موضوع. It is the best thing you can spend your time in, right? وربما يشق عليه القيام. So sometimes the person is tired, is lazy, had a long day. So instead of saying don't read salah at all, what we'll say, sit and read salah rather, right? وربما يشق عليه القيام فيجوز له تركه. So it's permissible for him to leave it out. leave what out. It's permissible for him to leave out the standing. Why? كي لا ينقطع يعني كي لا ينقطع عنه الصلاة. So salah doesn't drop off completely. So rather than not doing salah, better to sit and read salah, right? واختلفوا في كيفية القعود. So this salah that you're going to sit and read, how should you sit and read it? What is the best way, right? والمختار أن يقعد كما يقعد في حالة التشهد. The preferred opinion is that you sit and read like how you sit in the tashahhud. Why? Because that is it is a what you say, right word I'm looking for. It is a mashru'. It is an established form of sitting in salah. Yeah, honestly, maybe we've got right. It's one of the positions of salah. What is one is maybe you have a valid reason, like maybe you got some pain in your legs, or you got pain in your knees, or pain in your back. But you just say every person has qudrat ala tashahud. A person has qudrat ala tashahud. So والمختار أن يقعد كما يقعد في حالة التشهد. So the preferred opinion is he will sit like how he sits in tashahud. لأنه أحد مشروع في الصلاة because this is an established position. It is a mashru' position in salah. Right? Carry on. Okay, read the next one. Okay. وإن افتتح قائما. If a person started his salat standing, right? So he was maybe he's just feeling he thought, look, I'm tired, but I'm gonna push, I'm gonna stand and read, right? ثم قعد من غير عذر. And then he had no real reason, but he decided to sit. ثم قعد من غير عذر. Right? Just laziness or just tiredness. Not to say like a compelling reason, right? Then ثم قعد من غير عذر. فهذا عند أبي حنيفة that would be permissible 100% permissible according to Hanifa. وهذا استحسان. And this is something deeper than qiyas. Logically, it shouldn't be correct. But we are looking deeper than qiyas. We are looking at deeper than qiyas. Right, carry on. Yeah. right? وَإِنَّهُمَا لَا يُجَزِّيهِ وَهُوَ قِيَاسٌ. According to Sahibain, this will not be correct. What does it mean? According to Sahibain, if you started your salah standing, then to sit after that in the same salah without a valid reason, that will not be correct. You understood that? وَإِنَّهُمَا لَا يُجَزِّيهِ وَهُوَ قِيَاسٌ. And this is more logic based. Why? Okay, before we look at it, let me explain to you. They say, look here, when you started your salah standing, basically this is enough of salah. You understand what I'm saying? So basically you have taken it upon yourself. What you have done, you have taken it upon yourself to read the salah standing. So it is like, you can say, like how nazar is where you take an ibadat. It is not compulsory upon you. You take it upon yourself to do that ibadat. So basically you have taken it upon yourself to do this ibadat, right? So since you have taken it upon yourself to do this ibadat, standing, and you got no reason to not to stand, it's now necessary for you to complete the standing. It's now necessary for you to complete the standing. That's what he's saying. لأن الشروع معتبر بالنذر, because the starting there, right, معتبر is considered to be like another, right? So you, as though you have voluntarily made compulsory upon yourself that you are going to read the salah in a standing position. So now, without a valid excuse for you to leave outstanding is not permissible. Carry on. Yeah. So yeah, Imam Hanifa said, no, look here. The rest of the salah, you never started standing, right? You never started, I mean, so it's not the less, so let me explain it like this. Say, for instance, you read one rakat standing, and in the second rakat, you decided to sit. The easy way to explain it. The second rakat, you never stand. So if you never stand, you started at sitting. So that means you have not taken it upon yourself. You have not taken it upon yourself to do what? To do it standing. You haven't taken it upon yourself to do it standing. That's what he's saying. لأنه لم يباشر القيامة فيما بقي, because he did not do standing in what remains of the salah. وَلِمَا بَاشَرَ صَحَّ بِدُونِهِ, and that which he done it, وَلِمَا بَاشَرَ, what he done it standing, that it would be correct to do that without standing even. It would have been correct to do that without standing. So if it would have been correct to do that without standing, and he stood out of his own, so it's acceptable. So the rest, where it was not necessary for him to stand also, why are we making compulsory upon him to stand? You understood that? All right, carry on. Yeah, we say contrary to where a person make a nazar, where a person says, Ya Allah, if my work get done, my proposal get accepted, if I get cured from my illness, etc., then I am going to read 2 rakat salah, etc. So there you have made an express promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you're going to do the salah standing. So it is necessary for you to do it to standing. Yeah, there's no express promise. Yeah, from the beginning till the end, you had a choice from the side of Sharia to either stand or sit. You understand what I'm saying? لأن التزمه نصا, because when you said, Ya Allah, I'm going to read 2 rakats, we know in Arabic, you understand the Usul, al-mutlaqu yansaru ala farz al-kamil. If I tell you, bring me a glass of water, it means you must bring me a full glass of water. Right? Unless I specify, I'll bring a half a glass of water or bring a quarter glass of water. So same thing here. When he said, I'm going to read 2 rakats namaz, what is the most complete form of 2 rakats namaz? The most complete form of 2 rakats namaz is to read what? Is to read the namaz standing, so as though he's taken upon himself to read the namaz standing. لأنه التزمه نصا حتى لو لم ينص على القيام لا يلزمه القيام. To such an extent, they say if he never mentions, he just mentioned that, Ya Allah, I'm going to read 2 rakats namaz, right? حتى لو لم ينص, right, على القيام لا يلزم القائمين. Some mashayikh say that if he just said that I'm going to read 2 rakats namaz, right, and according to some mashayikh, this is so general that he can even read the 2 rakats namaz sitting. Although the other mashayikh said no, al-mutlaqu yansarifu ila farz al-kamil. When you make a general statement, then it turns to a complete, it turns to a complete 2 rakats. That means you must stand. But some say no, This is totally general and it will remain general. Even if we said, Ya Allah, if my work get done, I'm going to read 2 rakat salah. You can still read, you can even read a 2 rakat salah sitting, right? Okay, read the next one. The next, okay, before we come to the next, maybe I might just explain to you. Then we'll put it into the ibarat. The next ibarat is saying that any nafal namaz, right? Right. So if you are on your conveyance, in our context, you are on your car, and even if you're out of town, not even if you are out of town, you can sit on your conveyance, you can sit on your car, and you can read your nafil namaz in whatever direction your car is facing, or whichever direction your conveyance is facing. You understood that? I repeat that. If you are on your conveyance, you are sitting as a, obviously if you're driving, you can't read the salah. You're sitting as a passenger in the car. Then if you are out of town, not in town, you are out of town, then you can read your salah sitting without a complete ruku and without a complete sujood in whichever direction the conveyance is facing. You understood that? Now read it, Luqman. Right. وَمَنْ كَانَ خَارِجَ الْمِصْرِ, that person who is out of the town, يَتَنَفَّلُ عَلَى دَابَّتِهِ, he can read his nafil namaz. And remember, we told you when we speak about nafil, we don't mean nafil in the technical sense that it's not sunnat muakkada, not sunnat. Nafil means anything besides faraz and wajib, right? So يَتَنَفَّلُ عَلَى دَابَّتِهِ, he will make nafil upon his conveyance إِلَى أَيْ جِهَةٍ تَوَجَّهَتْ, to whichever direction the conveyance faces. Yumi iman, and he will, Yumi means like he won't make a full ruku, he won't make a full sajda, he just like lower his head for a little bit for ruku and lower it further for sajda, right? Yumi iman, he can do that, lower a little bit on his conveyance. So if you're sitting in the car, you just lower your head a little bit for the ruku and lower your head more for the sujood, etc. Right? Yumi iman, why? The hadith ibn Umar, because of the statement of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. What's the statement of Ibn Umar? Read. رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى يصلي رأيت رسول الله يصلي على حمار. So because as Ibn Umar says, I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam praying ala himarin, upon a donkey, but the donkey was facing towards Khaybar, not towards the Kaaba. Right? Ala himarin wa huwa mutawajjihun ila Khaybara, and the donkey was facing towards Khaybar, right? Me ima, and Nabi was just making indication with his ruku and sajda. He wasn't making a full ruku, he wasn't making a full sajda, right? Carry on. وَلِأَنَّ النَّوَافِلَ غَيْرَ مُخْتَصَّةٍ بِوَقْتٍ. So they're giving here the reasoning and the rationale why you can read your nafil on a conveyance. They say, look at nafil namaz, غَيْرُ مُخْتَصَّةٍ, it is not specific to a time. فَلَوْ أَلْزَمْنَا النُّزُولَ وَالْإِسْتِقْبَالَةَ نُقَطِّعُ عَنْهُ النَّافِلَةُ. If we're going to say that, look here, you have to get off from your conveyance and you have to read your ishraq namaz, you have to read your nawafi, you have to read your awabid namaz, you have to read your salatul duha, what will happen? Because it is no specific time, the whole kafla is not going to stop. And as a result of that, people will miss the salah. So rather than them missing it totally, let them read it on their conveyance. You understood that? They're saying, Ambal fara'idhu, because of farad namaz, فَمُخْتَصَّةٌ بِوَقْتٍ. If you look at farad sorry, وَلِأَنَّ النَّوَافِلَ غَيْرَ مُخْتَصَّةٍ بِوَقْتٍ. Because if you look at the nafil namaz, it is not fixed to a particular time. فَلَوْ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ النُّزُولَ, if we have to make compulsory upon getting on off the conveyance, وَالْإِسْتِقْبَالَ, and he must face the Qibla, تَنْقَطِعُ عَنْهُ النَّافِلَةُ, you're going to make all that the difficulties upon him, that you must get off. And then some people want to get off, some people don't want to get off, etc., etc. Then تنقطع النافلة, the nafil will get left behind, right? So rather allow him to do it on the conveyance. At least doing it under the conveyance is better than not doing it. All right, carry on. So yeah. Oh yeah, so they're just telling you that I gave you this reason, I thought I explained it. But what will happen is, because there's no specific time for the salah, what will happen is you're going to get off to stop and read it. The rest of the conveyance, the rest of the caravan will carry on. And obviously in previous times when there was a lot of danger, illness, wild animals, predatory animals, bandits, robbers, hijackers, etc., it was not safe to ride alone. And if the others don't want to stop, now you stop and read it, you're going to experience difficulty. So that is why we say allow him to read it on his conveyance, right? Yeah. So أما الفرائض فهو مختصة بوقت. If you look at the farz salah, it has a specific time. So now everybody will stop and you will read it properly. There's no fear of that everybody leaving you behind. There's no fear of it getting left out, etc. Right? أما الفرائض, right? As for fara'id, that we're saying, right? فمختصة بوقت, it is specific, right? On. وَالسُّنَنُ الرَّوَاتِبُ نَوَافِلُ. Sunan al-Rawatib means even the sunnahs before Zohr, the sunnahs after Zohr, the sunnahs after Asr, all these sunnahs, it's called the Sunan al-Rawatib. What's called like this Sunnah Mu'akkadas, right? وَالسُّنَنُ الرَّوَاتِبُ نَوَافِلُ. This is also considered to be nafil in this context here, in this context that you can read it on your vehicle, on your horse, on your donkey, out of the town, facing to any direction and every direction, right? Right. However, Imam Abu Hanifa says that for Sunnatul Fajr, you must alight from your conveyance. Why? Because remember, we discussed this here. لأنه آكد السنة. If you look at the Sunnat of Fajr, it is the most emphasized. It is the most emphasized Sunnat, right? They're saying, which is what, yeah, once again, yeah. أنه ينزل للسنة الفجر, so it's like almost like close to Bu'ajr. لأنه آكد من سائر, it is the most emphasized of all the type of Sunnat, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you look at the original context, or the original text of Al-Asal al-Kitab, it says there, you can do this when you are out of the town. So what does this mean? This shows you don't have to be a musafir. You don't have to be a musafir. Even if you are just out of the town, like you're going from here to Utenake, for example, you're not musafir, you're not safar distance. But the moment you're out of PE and you're on your way to Utenake, you can read your nafil in the taxi, right? Whichever direction you're facing, etc., right? Right, so this we say, وتقييد بخارج مصر ينفي اشتراط السياحة. So by saying that you so long as you're out of the town, it is negating the condition of safar, right? And it's also negating jawaz in the Misr. It's also negating the permissibility of doing it in the town. You can't do it in the town. You can't do it in the town also. That shows you must be out of the town, right? So as Imam Abu Yusuf said, you can even do it in the town. So if you're going maybe from your house, or you're going from your masjid to the house, which is in the town, you can read your nafil namaz sitting there in your car, Obviously, you're the driver, you can't do it, you're going to make an accident. But like if you're the front passenger, the back passenger, right? Okay, so that's again going to side by right. So what is the reason why we're saying that, look here, you must be out of town? If you look at the original text of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sitting and reading of his conveyance, that's why we say, what is the reason for the most apparent, or the Zahiru riwayat? The Zahiru riwayat means that you must be out of town. That Anna Nasta, the text that gave permission to show that you can read on your conveyance, right? وورد right ووجه الظاهر أن الناس ورد خارج مصر. It narrates that this happened while Nabi was out of the town, right? والحاجة إلى الركوب فيها أغلب, and the need to ride in it is greater. Normally, remember in previous, what I say here, in previous times, the towns were very, very small. That's why, if they say you, mashallah, you went to Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see the Masjid of Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the masjid. They say in the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that was the whole of Medina Sharif. You heard that before. So that was the whole of Medina Sharif. So that in previous times, the city, the town was very, very small. So you'll hardly ride in the city. So you walk because it's so short distance. So there was no real need to ride in the city. And there's no need to ride in the city. There's no need to read your sunnahs while you're in conveyance. You'd only take your conveyance when you want to leave the town and go out of the town. So there was no real need. They're saying, وَالْحَاجَةُ إِلَى الرُّكُوبِ فِيهَا أَغْلَبُ. The need to ride فيها out of the town, أغلب is more, it is greater, right? Carry on. Slow, read slow. Right. Why تطوع؟ it's a مفعول. وإن افتتح التطوع. Right. So وإن افتتح التطوع راكبا ثم نزل يبني. If a person started his nafil salat, right, while she was on the conveyance, but he stopped for one reason, some reason or other, and he slid off now he wants to continue his salah on the ground. ثم نزل right, no problem. ويفتتح التطوع راكبا ثم نزل, he can make bina, he can continue. So that means he can slip off and he can read his namaz standing. Or not he can, he should read his namaz standing, because now the jawaz was only when you're on the conveyance, right? Right. وَإِنْ صَلَّ رَكَةً نَازِلًا. But say since you were reading on the ground and then you decided to slip with minimal move onto the conveyance, right? Sunna rakiba istaqbala. Yeah, we say you have to restart. Why? Because you started in a stronger manner and now you're going to a weaker manner. You understood that? لأن إحرام الراكب, because they speak about the first one. وإن افتتح التطوع راكبا. You started your salah riding. لأن إحرام الراكب, because the إحرام of the راكب إن أقد مجوزا للركوع والسجود لقدرته على النزول. It had been established in such a way that it makes permissible ruku and sujud, right, لقدرته, despite his qudra upon coming down, right? He made it that he's going to sit and do it, right? So when he brings it, when he came down, that was, he brought it right. When he brought him to standing, in other words, he done the ruku and the sujood standing, there's no problem, it's fine, because he's going to a stronger point, right? I think we've done quite a bit. Let's stop there, inshallah. We've done how many lines? Huh? Okay, let's stop. We'll do this tomorrow, inshallah. What's tomorrow? Friday, eh? So we'll do this part again tomorrow, Friday. Let's stop there.